Hey replay viewers, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my YouTube Penguin6 for more videos from Hong Kong, including the tropical storms and typhoons that blew through last week. No storms on the horizon today, that's for sure. Sweep it away. Blue sky kind of day. Dun 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 dun. All right, who wants to play the ELO? Alexa, play ELO, Blue Sky. So for those of you who have Alexas going on. Hello. Hello, Ecuador. Jets are flying again. No, I don't have an Alexa. I'm actually, some of you have Alexas. So I'd love to take control of your Alexas for all those people who are watching on Apple TV. Alexa, play some ELO. So for those of you who have Alexa in your house, maybe it's kicked off. Yeah, Hong Kong Live. The sun is back. Let's go take a look at the core of the city. Today is very sunny. It's not hot yet, but it's going to get hot. It's about 26, 27 Celsius up here. You're wearing headphones, bummer. But it has happened before. Smog is pretty clear today. The typhoon blew everything out yesterday. Or the tropical storm. Tropical storm Paka. It blew through the first one day, and then yesterday it rained. I think we're relatively clear for the next few days. There is another typhoon, a big one, Sanvu, which is heading to Japan. Yeah, it's dark in Texas, and it's Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock here in Hong Kong. And we're on our normal walk. Hey, Fiscal, welcome to Hong Kong, and welcome to Periscope. Hours ahead of you, 8:07 on the west coast. I'm about 1,400 feet above sea level, which puts me right about the same height as the IFC building, but a little bit below the ICC. No typhoons this week. Disney, it rained all day at Disney, yeah. Sure, it was a wet one yesterday. Hey, Mark Hudson, welcome to Periscope, welcome to Hong Kong. You are on the peak, Lugard Road, L-U-G-A-R-D Road, and I am Penguin6, who shows you around the city every day. The water is very clear today. I mean, look at how blue the water looks today. I think after lunch, we're going to fly the drone. I mean, we don't get many blue things. I live here. I've lived here 7 years. I'm on the peak, the tallest mountain on Hong Kong. No, I'm not at Paris. I live here. I live here. It is a little bit green blue. Whoa! Dun da da dun 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 da da dun 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 da da dun dun da da dun. Yeah, I'll bring my drone out later. What brought me to Hong Kong? Love. I met the right girl, fell in love. Get to the chopper. That's the tourist chopper, actually. And he's going to land on the Peninsula Hotel. The Peninsula Hotel is over there. How often do you see drones? All the time, especially up here. I have my own drone. So this is the Peninsula Hotel, and Mr. Helicopter is right there, and he's going to go into the Peninsula Hotel, which is a very posh hotel. Fell in love with a girl. She was in America at the time, and then we moved to Hong Kong together. It's that helicopter. There he is. And he's going to come down on top of this hotel. This is live. You are in Hong Kong with me. Shenzhen is actually the other side of those mountains. It's not that far, about a half hour. Sometimes you can see Shenzhen. She was in America at the time I met her. I'm a dad, which is pretty much the coolest job in the world. live and direct. Network 23. Ah, bonsoir, party. Wife does not speak Cantonese. In fact, my Cantonese is better than hers. Oh, wow, there's a shadow of that plane that just went across the ocean. She speaks Mandarin. The storm did clear the air. It's a tad humid, but not disgusting like it's been. I'm not on a helicopter. I'm on a road. This is Lugard Road, Lugard Road, here on Victoria's Peak in Hong Kong. I am Penguin 6. I've lived here 7 years with a wife and 2 kids. I have a very ordinary life in this extraordinary city, and I share it with you guys every day. Usually we start up here for our morning walk. We do this hike every day. Yeah, it's a bit rough. And then later in the day we run errands. If there were 0 skyscrapers, it'd be crazy at 7.3 millions. Could I get a job? Yeah, I could. There was about 200 trees down for park car. In fact, I had to climb under one of them just a minute ago. Oh, the nanny. But actually the kids are in school right now. But when I'm around, also we have a nanny. Oh, here they come. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, everyone, I want you to start humming the theme from Miami Vice. Hey, met the cat, thanks. You see that? Commandos. Those are police and custom service commandos zipping off to do a raid in the harbor. No pizza today for lunch. Easy to go to China via Hong Kong. Yeah, you just take a train or bus. So those are police commandos on high-speed boats doing their little Miami Vice thing, zipping through the harbor looking for smugglers. They smuggle smuggle people from China into Hong Kong, and they smuggle luxury goods out of Hong Kong into China. I think today is a noodle day, if I can get home and showered into the noodle place by 11:30. So our plan for the day will be noodles about 11 o'clock, 11:30, and then I'm gonna go bicycle shopping. Yeah, Hong Kong edition. Yeah, we're gonna go bike shopping for my kid. He wants a new bike. The beaches are generally pretty nice when they're not polluted. In the summertime, though, there's too many women on the beaches. It's kind of distracting, trying to take in the sun and the surf, and there's all these single women on the beach. It's kind of a pain. I miss things about America. I don't miss everything about America. But I miss Amazon Prime, and I miss barbecue, and I miss cool, crisp fall nights when you can go watch a football game. We have lots of Pringles, but not as many flavors as you. We have some weird Pringle flavors. All right, here comes those Miami Vice guys. Look at them, they're just speedboating around. We can get some stuff from Amazon, but we have to pay for the shipping. And we don't have Amazon Prime, of course. So fascinating enough, this lookout right here didn't exist. Is this the view of the entire city? No, but this is the urban core of the city. So last week this viewpoint didn't exist. Last week this was all trees, and then the storm ripped it out. Just last week, you can still see the damage from the typhoon. Rip these trees out. Hong Kong is a bit more restrictive than it used to be. So there go the speedboats. They're off on a raid. Yeah, Go-Go Van did really well. You still feel the surrealness. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's a tad surreal. But you know, sometimes living in America is surreal too, you know. Where would my son ride the bike? That's a good question. Up here, maybe down in Hong Kong Park or something like that. There's a few other places. We go down to my son's international school. Is it more busy? It's No, it's complicated. Um, my life here is simpler than my life in America. Now, I know that sounds crazy because I live in this urban metropolis, but I have an easier, more convenient lifestyle here than I did in rural America or whatever. Because primarily, I don't have to drive. I don't have to drive to do everything. It's about 10:15 in the morning. My rent is very expensive. My rent is about 95,000 US dollars a year, 95,000. How could that be? Because I can walk to the basic necessities of life. I walk to the doctor, I walk to the grocery store, I walk to the hardware store. Hey, welcome to Periscope. And I live in a building where there are, a half a dozen play dates for my kids in the building. I have domestic workers. I have a nanny who works for us. She lives in the house, so she can take care of things. Um, so I have a simpler life. I always tell the story. And on the U.S. one day, I had a business meeting and I needed to take a shower. And then I got in the shower and I realized I had no shampoo. And it was like a 20-minute thing. It was like 10 minutes to the nearest convenience store, park the car, get the shampoo, drive home, wash my hair. Here, I've got a grocery store literally across the street. I walk down, just take the elevator downstairs, go into the grocery store. So I have a simpler life here. My life is easier here. In the U.S., I'm always in a car. I'm always having to drive someone somewhere to do this or that or buy something here or there. And everybody else is always in their car. Honestly, the streets of the U.S. are much more scary than the streets of Hong Kong. The U.S. will be more packed. Will it be more designed better, though? The United States zoning, the way the United States has been built, not knocking it or anything, but it's built around the car. I mean, something like 1/3 of the developed area of the United States is parking lots. So, well, being a surgeon here doesn't really pay that well. I mean, it's a government healthcare system. My wife is a banker. I'm a tech startup guy. What was that other question? The U.S., the density, American cities evolve here. Manhattan is 65,000 people per square mile. Here in Hong Kong, the developed areas are 85,000, and there are some areas that are 110 to 120,000 people per square mile. You'll never get that level of development in the United States. It would require you would have to build a new city with a public transit system and all the other infrastructure. The language is English. Everything in Hong Kong is English and Chinese. Those are the two official languages of Hong Kong. So every sign that you see will be in English and in Chinese. Every person you call at the government will, by and large, speak English and Chinese. So it's pretty easy. We were a British colony for 160 years. The law of Hong Kong is actually written in English. The courts practice in English. English is taught in the schools and has been taught in the schools. It is one of the most English literate cities overseas you'll encounter. So surviving here speaking nothing but English is completely normal. Hey, puppy. Pixelated, it happens something like that. The political climate is a bit crazy in the U.S. Maybe you live here one day, well, why not now? You can fly over to Hong Kong for about $600 US round trip. Round trip airfare, $600 US. Go to google.com/flights and check out the fares from some major airport near you, like, I don't know, Chicago, O'Hare, or Dallas, or San Francisco, or something like that. And you'll find some real bargains to Hong Kong. Come over and check it out for a week or two. You can't, you're in school. Well, you can just take, it's called fall break, dude. Summer, spring break, fall break. Borrow your roommate's credit card, buy a ticket. Did I hear about the flooding in Houston or the flooding here in Hong Kong? I heard about both, to be honest. In fact, yesterday this path was very badly flooded. I got my shoes soaking wet for the whole trip. I was very annoyed. Hopefully today it'll clear it up a bit. Yeah, google.com/flights, Google's fare tracking search engine. Yeah. Best view is about 300 meters.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Tejas is pretty wet. So yesterday this was all underwater. It still is a bit wet. So yesterday, you remember, I got really soaking wet here. Today, not so much. Restarting the scope? No, it'll get better. You might have to exit and come back in. Signal comes and goes. Yeah, I had squishy shoes the whole way. Yeah, a lot of people like to watch my scopes. It helps them put them to sleep. You know, I've got this kind of voice that puts kids to sleep. I've got to use that voice to put my kids to sleep every night. No, sometimes I talk my kids to sleep, and sometimes I talk my kids into like staying up all night. They're just like, tell us the story, Dad.
Wow, look back there.
No, not like that. You have that just to smash those illusions. I look a lot like George Jetson, like an old version of George Jetson. So imagine this is George Jetson speaking to you. Do people say like an airline pilot? But I don't have that southern drawl. Airline pilots always have to add that little southern drawl. Try to make it sound like they know what they're doing, you know. That Chuck Yeager sound, yeah? Chuck Yeager sound of a draw. George Jetson. You don't know George Jetson? Oh, God. Jetson. Meet George Jetson. His boy Elroy. Go to Tokyo, then Hong Kong. Cool. If you come to Hong Kong, you need to go to Shamshai Po, the Golden Computer Center, which is the video game capital of Hong Kong. Golden Computer Center in Shamshai Po. It is an older generation. Yeah, the Jetsons and Johnny Quest. No, I don't think kids today know Jetsons, and they certainly don't know Johnny Quest. George Jetson, yeah, it was a TV show in the 70s, 60s. It was sort of like a future version of the Flintstones. Johnny Quest, on the other hand, was a very violent show. In fact, Johnny Quest, the Invisible Monster. It's on YouTube. I know it's late at night in the United States. If you've never seen this, here's what I want you to do. Put on this video with the lights out in your house. Johnny Quest, the Invisible Monster. And watch it as you go to bed. I can't tell you how many kids from my generation were scarred for life watching The Invisible Monster and The Silent Spy. That was the other two episodes of Johnny Quest that really, really scared the bejesus out of us as kids. Barely 7. Oh, you can wait a little. So yeah, it's one of those historic moments. It's like the moment Phoebe Cates came out of the water and came out of the pool in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Basically, any male of my generation, that was sort of a turning point in our sexual development. The moment Phoebe Cates came out of the pool in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Now, if there are any guys on the scope, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Some of you women are just like, what, she just came out of the water? I'm like, no, she didn't just come out of the water. I don't watch Rick and Morty. Hey, Brazil. We actually have a Portuguese colony here in Macau, which is about 45 minutes away. It was a Portuguese colony, so Macau, instead of speaking English and Chinese, they speak Portuguese and Chinese. Phoebe Cates is retired. Rick and Morty are the thing. Yeah, well, I'm not really into things anymore. I'm a bit too old, I think. There are a few people out. It's a really quite a nice blue sky day, yeah? So I should have brought the drone, yeah? The drone would have been nice to fly today. Maybe later, after we go bicycle shopping. Well, we had a Brazilian person in here, so we thought we'd bring up the Portuguese aspects of Asia. Hey, Scotland. Oi, it's not Scottish, it's crap. Current temp is about 27 Celsius, which is in the high 70s. A little bit humid. I've got a little sweat going on. That was a Michael Myers, Austin Powers thing. It's not Scottish, it's crap. I do see Raven actually saw me the other day. She took a picture of me from her bus. But we do chat occasionally. I haven't seen her online in a while. Hey, US. Causes. So this is what our police cars look like. I mean, they do technically have a few police cars, but most of the time what you see are these police vans, because most of the cops are on foot. I do work, but I don't have to work 9 to 5. 7.3 million people. Well, the nanny looks after the kids too, but I have a startup I'm working on, and I make videos. They are actually used as ambulances in some places. Those are the stretch versions of the Mercedes Sprinter, and that's what they use. Most cops are on foot, so they get delivered in sort of that police bus, basically, and then they go on patrol. Of course we have a nanny. Nanny's here. Everybody has a nanny here. So a nanny, a domestic worker, costs about $600 US a month. 600 US a month. And they live in, they work 6 days a week. And you give them room and board, so you give them food and a room. But yeah, I mean, $600 a month, why wouldn't I have a nanny? I think we actually pay her a bit more. Whoa, whiteout. Yeah, they live in. So what's the nanny? So the nanny today is washing the beanbag covers. She's married with a kid back in the Philippines. There's the tram. The internet is quick, but it depends, because a lot of the services we access are overseas. So while it's quick to the central office, I mean, we have 1 gigabit internet to the central office. When it has to cross over the ocean, well, then we got to sort of fight with all the other Trans-Pacific. I am on Victoria Peak. The laws are different. Nannies are brought under a special visa. There's actually a bit of a complication. People are actually a bit upset with the laws on nannies. They think it's too harsh. Fascinating. This is Hong Kong. We do this thing every day, so if you're around, you'll see me most days. Usually on this, it's not lunchtime yet. It's about 10:30. Lunchtime for the locals kicks off at noon. For me, I try to get to lunch between 11 and 11:30, so I don't hit the crowds. I'm thinking noodles today, yeah? 11 is early. Well, we try to keep it interesting. I mean, honestly, I've hiked this trail. I've made a video. I've made hundreds, literally hundreds of this video. So I've got to banter, keep it interesting. Noodles do sound good. So we're probably going to get wonton noodles. If you go to my YouTube channel, Penguin6, you can see what the noodles look like. Hey, you can even see what I look like. Ice cream, it's not that hot. So I'm going home. I am a big sweets guy, but I used to be a much bigger sweets guy, but then I decided to lose weight. So ice cream, a little bit thing. Yeah, a lot of people have pets. I'm a dad. It is the same as it is there. It's going into fall. We're in the northern hemisphere, so we have the same weather as you do in the U.S. There is a whole street called Goldfish Market that is filled with pet stores. Every shop is a pet store. So you can walk the street and stuff. My wife is in finance, I'm not. I'm in tech. So this is the tram station. Did you see the periscope of a guy sitting in the van in the car wash in a hurricane? No, but that sounds kind of funny. I have periscoped from car washes before. Now here's an interesting thing. There's some road maintenance going on here. But all these guys doing the road maintenance, you won't see any Chinese guys. All the guys are Bangladeshi or Pakistani. Right? It's not a job that locals aspire to. They don't really aspire to road maintenance. So it's one of those jobs they have foreigners do, basically. Oh, that's kind of crazy. I guess the car wash survives. I hope it survived. The top winds we had in Typhoon Hato the other day were 100 miles an hour. Whoa, that's bright. So we've got the tram coming in just a moment. We'll just stay here and show you the tram, because I know you guys like the tram. I think it's moving. Let's see if I can see the cable. Yep, it's moving. So I'm thinking noodles, but I'm also kind of thinking fish and chips. There, that's me. Oh, the tram stopped. You sent a friend to Hooked and she got whatever I like. It's a strange world, isn't it? I usually get the blue cod with chips. But yeah, it's a really good fish and chips. Now you're starting to make me want fish and chips instead of noodles. Mango bubble tea, yeah, there's a lot of that. East Texas, a bit wet for you the next few days. I saw that the National Weather Service had to redo their rainfall charts because they didn't have enough colors available to show how much rain is. In the wintertime, it's in Fahrenheit, it's like 50s to 60s. In the winter, it gets up to maybe 70 during the day. In the winter, it's basically hoodie weather in the wintertime. We wear a hoodie. We're on the same latitude as Cozumel, Mexico, and Havana, Cuba. So, I mean, you can kind of imagine the weather in Cuba in the winter. It's comparable to what you have here. Avocado and mangoes. Avocados are really hard to get here in Hong Kong. They're not very good, the ones that we bought. I think they came from the Philippines, but they were kind of hard avocados. They weren't really soft. You know, Halloween is growing to be a bigger holiday all over the world, primarily because of American media. American movies and TV shows are always showing Halloween, and kids all over the world are always asking, why can't we have a holiday for us where we get candy and stuff? Halloween is now pretty big in the UK, actually. Halloween is actually celebrated here in Hong Kong, but predominantly in the international community. I scoped last year from the Halloween from the American area, which had lots of kids out trick-or-treating, and we trick-or-treat in our buildings. It's usually arranged by the expat parents. We gather up all the families who are willing to take part and make a list, and then we take the kids around on our own. You know, you can export pretty much anything you want to Hong Kong because we don't have any customs duties. There are no tariffs, no trade duties, no customs. So anything can come into Hong Kong as a free trade port, and you can sell it. So actually, there's an entire company called Prize Mart, and then there's another company called Best Mart 360, and their entire business model is to go to Costco in the United States, go to Costco, buy everything they can find at Costco in bulk, ship it to Hong Kong, and mark the price up 100% and resell it. And they make a very good living being Costco re-importers. odd thing is, many of the products they sell are actually made in China, shipped to the United States, shipped back to Hong Kong, and sold at a markup such that it's cheaper than buying local. Go figure. So that's where we go to get laundry detergent. Rather than buy local laundry detergent, which is very expensive, we go to these Costco importers and we buy a big bucket of laundry detergent. And that's like when we had diapers, we used to do that too. The markup is huge. I always tell the story. I wanted to buy a ear thermometer for my son, one of those Braun ear thermometers for knowing if the kid has a fever. And it was basically like $60 here in Hong Kong. I looked it up on Amazon, and with shipping, it was $27 to get it shipped to Hong Kong. I was just like, please. So I shipped it. It got here in a week. Mexican food is not popular in Asia. There are some Mexican places here catering primarily to the international community, primarily to the Americans. But in China, Mexican food is regarded as being, well, it's a little too dry. They don't like the rice. Most people prefer a softer rice rather than the harder rice that you see in a lot of Mexican dishes. They don't really enjoy it. I don't know. I know. They consider the rice, like, if you ever have a Chinese person visit you, don't cook them American rice, okay? Never give a Chinese person Uncle Ben's. Yeah. Ooh, Bruce Willis has a brother? No. So this house cost 193 million US dollars. The Vietnamese food here sucks. I'm sorry, it sucks. The reason is that it's watered down to the local taste. It's a little bit bland. It doesn't have the same fullness of flavor, the same spice, not spice, but the same unique taste that Vietnamese food has in like the United States. Like I live in Washington, D.C., which has about 300,000 Vietnamese. It's pretty easy to get a really good bowl of pho in Washington, D.C. Yeah, this house is 193 million US dollars, 22 Barker Road. It was bought by Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. He's worth about 31 billion US. So he bought it about 2 years ago. He's never moved in. He just started renovating it a few months ago. But even at 193 million, it's only the fourth most expensive house in Hong Kong. There are 3 other properties that are more expensive. Okay, so balance level today takes on an added twist. We've got to walk the balance beam here, but if we fall, we go into a puddle. Talk about tension. So the other day, my kids and I did this with our eyes closed. There is the puddle of doom, and we can just walk really fast. Woo, what a sense of balance. Oh yeah, this is the part where the signal goes to shit. Sorry, signal goes bad. Every day we lose the signal here. I don't know why. Every day, yeah, we just lost 40 viewers. Whew. That's called the signal problems. Hey guys, welcome back. Ah, it's that curve, yeah. That curve always takes out the signal, doesn't it? But we're back. Yeah, it always freezes there. I don't know why. It's that curve of the mountain. It always messes up the signal. But we're back. Yeah, DC has some really good pho. Because there's so many Vietnamese in Northern Virginia. But here, the pho is all watered down to Cantonese taste. Signal always craps out there. You know what? I'm gonna switch providers. I've decided, because my contract is up next month, and I've decided I think I'm gonna switch to the 1010. Seems to be a better, more reliable signal. I've been with SmartTone for 7 years now, but I just can't. Their signal just isn't strong enough anymore. It is a great walk. You didn't get booted off. The signal just crapped out around that corner like it always does. Wow, this view just appeared because there used to be a tree here. You couldn't even see that building. And I'm using Smart Tone still. This is my old phone plan, and it expires next month. So I'm probably going to get a new one. Likely get a new one next month. Going to Japan. So this is the Victoria Apartments. A lot of government officials live in this building. This used to be a Europeans only hospital, maternity hospital, for the European women to give birth. Whoa, 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 what the hell? Hang on, hang on. Oh, it's just a cruise ship. I thought it was a warship. I saw that boat going through the harbor, and for a moment I thought it was a warship. It was just a cruise ship. That's no fun. It's rare we get warships in the harbor every couple of months, but right in the main harbor, not that often. Oh, here comes a tree removal crane. Yeah, I got all excited because it was a strange looking vessel. I could only see the mast. It had a rather interesting radar suite, which sort of what threw me. I was like, kind of looked like a frigate or something. But then when I got up high, I could see it was just a stupid cruise ship. I've told you before, but education is huge here. Here you see someone advertising for Latin, French, and literature lessons. Just advertising on the street. My vacation was quite good. If you look at my YouTube channel, Penguin 6, I have an entire series, my road trip across the United States, which took about 20 days of driving across the United States with my kids. I saw a lot of cool stuff, had some really good beef and hamburgers. Gained about 6 pounds. We're still trying to lose that weight right now. You know, I'm actually thinking more and more efficient ships today. Don't know. What do you guys think? My kids, one is 11 and one is 8. So 3rd grade and 6th grade. Where are you going, pup? Don't go play with the snakes. Probably chasing a pig. 5,800 miles across country. 20 days in a minivan with 2 kids, and it was great, great time. Boys, hello. Go scare the snakes away from me, because I don't like snakes. Well, Fleet Week in LA today. Oh, cool. Here comes dog number 2. Do, 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 do. Yeah, it's that woman's dog. She has 2. This weekend, yeah, what is today? It's Tuesday, right? So, what do we have Tuesday? Son has Cub Scouts, not tonight, and then he's got soccer training. And I need to buy him a bicycle. So we're going to the bicycle shops today. Excuse me. Hey, puppies. Hey. So dogs are great because they scare off the snakes. If there's any snake on the trail, the dog will have its way with it. Which is what I like. A snake-free hike. All right, stay with us, guys. The signal gets a little wonky as we go around this corner up here, but we will be back. If it, well, just bear with me as we go around this corner. Yeah, the signal craps out in this corner, but it comes back on the other side. It's just this one little part. Oh God, it's still very wet here. I'm gonna get a little wet. So this part of the path is still quite rainy. On the plus side though, it did wash the path off. Yeah, signal always goes in and out here, but as I come around to Halfway Rock, it gets a lot better. Maybe with the new carrier we won't have these problems as much. When does the new carrier start? When I sign a contract and sort of set it up. I haven't done it yet. I've just been, I don't know, nostalgic for the good old days of my old provider. But I guess I really have to make the switch. I think I'm going to switch to 1010, which is sort of the gold-plated mobile provider. I've been with SmartTone for 7 years now, but I'm just having so many problems doing these broadcasts with SmartTone. 1010, sometimes I use 1010 for the 360 periscopes, and a lot of you report that it's slightly better on 1010 than when it is streaming on SmartTone. So I figured I'd make the jump. I liked having two providers though. So I have a phone in my pocket that's on 1010, and then I have this phone on SmartTone. But you're visiting a couple months. This path is known as the Central Green Trail, Chatham Path, Chatham, and it extends from central Hong Kong, right there, the Bank of China building where the Peak Tram is, and you can walk up the tram tracks all the way to the Peak. I, of course, being smart, walk down instead of up. My advice, take the tram up to the Peak and then walk back down. Don't do it the other way. It is a nice view, isn't it? We'll have another one in just a moment as we get onto this tree again. Hello. There's the view. The view's improved a lot after Typhoon Hato. A lot of trees have been blown out of the way. A lot of the foliage knocked down such that you can see a whole lot more now. What do I use to keep this phone steady? My arm, my elbow. So I crook my arm, sort of, my elbow is pointed down, and it becomes kind of a one-axis gimbal for walking the phone. So my upper arm will move, or I can hold my upper arm steady, and then at my elbow and the rest of my body can do a lot of motion. So I try to hold my forearm relatively steady, relatively firm, and then my elbow absorbs all the motion. That and the iPhone 7 has image stabilization, and Periscope has image stabilization. So between the three of them, generally able to get a pretty stable image. It's interesting when I do it on YouTube, which doesn't, On my iPhone 6, and which does not have image stabilization, the quality is considerably reduced when I do walking videos on YouTube. iPhone 8 is coming out, but boy, it's supposed to be pricey. I'm seeing $1,000 US for an iPhone. That's what a computer used to cost. I haven't purchased many iPhones. I've been given iPhones by different people and companies. Well, there went another tree. Look at that. That one fell yesterday. That was here yesterday. So we got another new view. Check it out. The view has just become amazing here. Yeah? The view down this path has just become crazy, thanks to all the trees that have been destroyed. So this house is $33,000 US a month to rent. 6 bedrooms, 6,000 square feet. Used to be a school for Eurasian children. Now it's a private home. 33 grand American. Pixelated now, bummer. That is number 1 Chatham Path, C-H-A-T-H-A-M, number 1 Chatham Path. It's a private house. It's pretty posh. It's a colonial house. You're looking at a trip next summer. You know, it's really hot in the summer. Think about the spring or the fall if possible. If you do come in the summer, just don't come in August. July is rough. August is really bad. And June is passable, but the earlier the better. But if you're in school and you have no choice, well, you have no choice. It's also much more expensive in the summer. So I did fly in, I think that's like June 15th. There are 2 cutoff dates. One is June 15th, the other is July 1st. So the later you fly, the more expensive your flight. Not sure what that bird is. There are cockatoos here in these woods, though. There are a lot of cockatoos. I just don't hear any of them. To visit Hong Kong is like visiting Chicago, okay? Your budget is what you want, you know. You want to eat at a cheap noodle place, you can spend $5 US. You want to go to McDonald's, $5 US. You want to go to a Michelin star, 5-star restaurant where the waitresses have all been trained at the Sorbonne, you're going to spend $500 US. Same with hotels. There's a place called the Garden View Hotel, which is like $75-80 a night. It's not bad, a little small, but it's not bad. Then there's a Marriott, there's a Holiday Inn Express. I mean, it's got the whole gamut. So basically, I tell people if you're visiting, budget like you're going to go to Chicago. But if you're living here and having to pay all the living expenses, like buying groceries and paying for an apartment, well, then you really pay out the nose. There is Airbnb. It's not that popular, though it is something to consider if you're going to be here. Because let's face it, you're not coming for 3 nights. Yeah, you're coming for a week. I mean, it's pointless to come to Hong Kong for 3 days unless it's part of an overall tour of Asia. My advice is 5 to 7 days in Hong Kong as part of a 2-week trip to Asia. Remember, the jet lag is going to wipe you out for a couple days. So you don't want to just make don't want a 5-day trip to Hong Kong and have 3 days jet lag adjusting. I've been to Singapore. I was in Singapore last May. My son had a soccer tournament. My son's soccer team travels throughout Asia, and they went to Singapore for the Singapore Sevens. I stayed at the JW Marriott. Ate at Nando's. That was pretty good. Singapore is hot. Singapore is much hotter. It's a bit cleaner. We always say that, Singapore is kind of a Disneyland. Hong Kong is sort of the county fair. Or state fair, Hong Kong is a bit rougher, a bit more vibrant. Singapore is a bit more... Singapore's go when you have kids. Do I travel alone? Well, sometimes, but usually I travel with my wife and kids. Though I have traveled by myself before. Interesting. I do have friends who travel alone. So, for example, a couple that we know, they sometimes go off on like their own vacation without the kids. However, they travel on separate flights to the vacation. So, like, let's say they're going to Hawaii, yeah? One will take a flight through Japan, the other will take a flight through Taiwan. They won't fly on the same flight on their vacation because they don't want an airline accident to rob their children of both parents. And they're actually, pretty serious about that. So, like, if the two of them are traveling, now if they're traveling with the family, that's no big deal. They'll travel together. But if it's just the parents traveling, they'll book separate flights. Now, mathematically, statistically, it's relative. Probably more likely they'd be involved in a crash since they're flying more flights than they would be if they shared a plane, but whatever. Tesla. So what time is it? It's 10:55. Another Tesla. Look at that. It's like a repeat. White Tesla, then another white Tesla. That was weird. Let's go for a triple play. Come on, give us a triple. We want a third Tesla. And taxi. Hello. So I think we're going to go home and take a shower. We're going to change clothes. Then we're probably going to go out and eat. After that, I'm going to go bicycle shopping. So I got to go to the bicycle store. Probably, hey Brussels, bonsoir, or Belgium, what part of Belgium you're in. I don't speak Flemish. Ça va bien. 10:55, so it's 10:55 in the morning, Tuesday here in Hong Kong. Clear blue skies. So, let's see. Well, we try to keep these scopes interesting. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to go bicycle shopping later today. I live here in Hong Kong. Yes, I do. I've been here 7 years. We're going to go bicycling shopping after lunch. I think we're either going to have noodles or fish and chips. So if you're around for the next couple hours, you will see some more broadcasts from me as we take you into different parts of the city. Hey, Asheville, how's it going? For the bicycles, I think we're going to go to Wan Chai. There's about 4 bicycle shops. I'm not going to actually buy one. I'm going to see which bicycle shop has the bike I want to get my kid. And then I'll take the kid there after school and we'll buy it with him. I think he'll have the sign off and he'll be very excited. He rode bicycles in America this summer and he was very, very happy and very much wants to ride bicycles here. It's sort of like a mountain bikey kind of thing. Problem is there's not a lot of places to ride here in Hong Kong. It's a bit blurry now. This guy's parked in the driveway. That doesn't work well. So guys, thanks for watching. We're back home now. Yeah, I gotta go find a park. We're gonna sign off now and go upstairs, take a shower. We will be back within the next half hour for lunch. So